So this is my newly built 1971 style Strat. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I use a lot of DIY gear, DIY guitars, pedals, modded amps and so on. But I've never documented any of these, so I thought this one, I'll have to document it. I've literally just finished it and just put the bridge on. I've never played this guitar, it's never had strings on it. So I'm just going to talk you through it before I put the strings on it and play it for the first time. So it's mostly new parts. The only old parts are the jack plate that came out of my parts box. The scratch plate is the original one from a 96 Jap Strat, and the bridge is an eBay find. I think it's off an 80s or 90s Japanese Strat. I don't know if you can see the Fender writing on it on the saddles, but they're kind of very well, they're exactly the same as the writing on my other Jap Strats. And it's a slightly different font to the USA ones. So the neck is an all parts neck, which I've lacquered and put the logo on. The tuners are Fender F tuners. So the neck, the frets were almost perfect. They were almost perfectly level. Obviously I've crowned them. It is similar to a 70s style neck. It's not exactly like it, but it is a nice feel. So that's an all parts neck. The body, that's from guitarbuild.co.uk. It's a two-piece alder body. I forget what the weight is, but it's a fairly lightweight. And at Guitar Build you can actually choose the specific body you want, and they tell you the exact weight. So the neck and body joint is the tightest I've ever come across on a Strat. I could basically lift up the guitar by the neck and the body still stayed there. So the pickups, I was going to go for Fender Custom 69s or Frailing Woodstocks, but I ended up getting Fender Pure Vintage 65 Strat pickups. You know, I was listening to loads of demos, and these ones just, they spoke to me. You know, there was a YouTube channel called Matt the Guitar Guy, and he did a demo on these, and they really sounded lovely on his demo, so I thought they're the pickups for me. So I'm just going to take the scratch plate off and show you inside. So you can see I've got the grounding plate. I don't think the 70s Strats actually came with the plate as big as the scratch plate, but I like that, so I've put it on. You can see I've got copper shielding, and I've used this in all my Strats for a good while, and to me it's a real tone improvement. And because I use fuzzies stacked with an overdrive, I can get a lot of noise, and this really makes a difference. It's really mostly standard wiring. I've got a treble bleed on the volume control. I'll get a close-up of that. So I've got a carbon composite resistor and a Mullard mustard capacitor, so that proper vintage parts. The tone capacitor, that's one of the Luxe capacitors. So, you know, they're quite expensive. They're about, I think that was about £20, 20 quid. But to me, they make a real difference. It's subtle, very subtle. I mean, I know people debate about, do the tone capacitors make a difference, but to me it does. It makes a smoothness on the top end. You know, and I wouldn't go back to a normal capacitor. With a switch, it's standard switching, except that I've got the bridge pickup also on the tone control. What else is there? So around the back you can see I've got the 4-bolt neck plates. I know the 70s ones had the 3-bolt, but this is what I could get, and it's not really a super accurate replica of a 70s Strat, but it's near enough for me, you know, and it's on paper it's going to be a good guitar. So you see in the cavity I've got the Goldo Back Box. So that is if you have a floating tremolo, that stabilizes it, so you can have a loose-ish tremolo, but when you bend strings, you double stop, the other note doesn't go out of tune. I really recommend them. They take a bit of setting up. I haven't actually screwed this in yet because you can't set it up until the strings go on, so that'll be in a little bit. The trem block is a Callaham, and I really think these are great. When I've got these in all my Strats. When I first used one, it does make the strings feel a little bit tighter, but and when I first used one on my other guitars, I did actually take it off and I put the alloy block back on, but in comparison, the tone of the alloy block was really rough compared to this Callaham one, and to me the difference in tightness was very small, and within a day or so I'd got used to it. Also, the tremolo screws on the front of the guitar, they're Callaham ones, they're hardened compared to the normal Fender ones, and I think they do make a difference. You know, there's a certain something in the upper mid, so I've got those in as well. So the next thing now, I'm going to put some strings on this guitar, set it up, and we'll see how it sounds. So wow, I am very pleased with this guitar. I mean, even though, you know, I built it myself, if it wasn't right, I'd say, you know, I'm not very happy with this or that, but I'm just blown away by it, really. You know, I was expecting the maple neck to make a difference to the sound. I mean, I'm used to playing rosewood slab board strats. I haven't owned a maple neck strat for over 20 years, so I've forgotten the difference, but this is just really punchy. I mean, I'm playing in the house, so I couldn't play for very long. I had the amp attenuator at the lowest setting, so you know, when I get out and I can play it louder at the proper volume, it's going to be even better. But I'm very pleased with it. I find it very punchy, much punchier than the rosewood board strats I've got. I'd say that all parts neck, the actual profile of it is very similar to my '96 Japanese Strat. So it's more of a '60s neck profile than an actual '70s one. I've played real '70s Strats and they're quite distinctive, but this is a very comfortable neck. But overall, I'm just really pleased with this Strat. I can't wait to take it out. So we're gigging in February. We'll be rehearsing this Sunday, so I'll do some more videos of it. And yeah, I can't wait to take it out. Yeah.